The mining vessel Sierra Madre drifted silently through the Kuiper Belt, its massive collection arrays spreading out like metallic wings in the dim starlight. Captain Sarah Chen stood at the bridge viewport, watching the automated harvesters process another ice-rich asteroid. After 15 years of deep space mining operations, humanity had grown confident in their mastery of the solar system's outer reaches. That confidence was about to be shattered. "Captain, we're picking up some unusual readings." Lieutenant David Okafor's voice cut through the quiet hum of bridge operations. "Multiple objects approaching from beyond Neptune's orbit. They're moving impossibly fast." Sarah moved to the sensor station, her experienced eyes scanning the readouts. In all her years of deep space work, she'd never seen anything like this. The objects were accelerating and decelerating in ways that defied known physics. "Get me a visual," she ordered, keeping her voice steady despite the growing unease in her stomach. The main screen flickered to life, and the bridge crew fell silent. Massive ships, elegant and alien in design, were engaged in what could only be described as a battle. Energy weapons that made their most powerful fusion drives look like sparklers crisscrossed the void. The smaller vessels, each still larger than anything humanity had ever built, moved with impossible grace, while the larger ships unleashed devastation on a scale that defied comprehension. "Send an emergency burst transmission to Earth Command," Sarah ordered, her mind racing through protocols that had never contemplated this scenario. "And power down everything except life support and minimal communications. We're going dark." But it was too late. Both alien fleets had already detected the Sierra Madre. The battle paused, and then two distinct transmission signals reached their communications array. The first message came in perfect English, translated through what must have been incredibly advanced AI. "Greetings, human vessel. We are the collective of free stars, fighting against the tyranny of the hegemony. We request your aid and sanctuary. The fate of 1,000 worlds hangs in the balance." Before Sarah could process this, a second message arrived. "Human ship, this is the Galactic hegemony. The terrorists you see before you threaten the peace of 1,000,000 systems. Aid us in their apprehension, and you will be generously rewarded." Sarah Chen had started her day overseeing a routine ice mining operation. Now she found herself and her crew of 37 humans caught between two advanced alien civilizations, each capable of destroying Earth's entire fleet with a single ship. But as she looked at her crew's determined faces, she saw not fear, but the uniquely human spark of possibility. "Send a message to both fleets," she ordered, a plan already forming in her mind. "Tell them the Sierra Madre welcomes them to Sol System, and that we'll need 1 hour to consult with our government regarding their requests." As her communications officer complied, Sarah opened a direct channel to Earth Command. Humanity's first contact with alien life wouldn't be a peaceful exchange of knowledge or a diplomatic meeting. Instead, it would come through fire and chaos, with humanity caught between vastly superior forces. But if there was one thing humans excelled at, it was turning impossible situations to their advantage. "Earth Command, this is Captain Chen of the Sierra Madre," she began, her voice steady. "We have a situation that's going to change everything. And we're going to need to think fast." As she explained the situation to her superiors, Sarah couldn't help but smile slightly. The aliens, for all their advanced technology, had just made a crucial mistake. They had assumed that humanity, being technologically inferior, would have to choose a side. They were about to learn that humans had a habit of finding options that no one else could see. The Sierra Madre's ice mining equipment might be primitive compared to alien weapons, but in the hands of creative humans, mining tools had a way of becoming something else entirely. Sarah was already calculating how much cryogenically frozen water they had in their cargo holds, and how their mining lasers might be repurposed. Sometimes the most primitive solution was the one no one expected, and humanity was about to show the galaxy that being caught between two superior forces didn't always mean you had to choose between them. Sometimes you could change the game entirely. The United Earth Defense Council chamber buzzed with tense energy as the holographic display showed the two alien fleets holding position near the Sierra Madre. Admiral Helena Santos stood before the assembled leaders, her weathered face illuminated by the tactical displays. Both the hegemony and the collective possess technology centuries beyond ours, she stated, gesturing to the sensor readings from the Sierra Madre. Their smallest support ships could likely defeat our entire fleet, but they've given us something invaluable. Time to think. The council members shifted uncomfortably. Humanity had dreamed of first contact for generations, but not like this. Not caught in the crossfire of an ancient war between civilizations that could crush Earth like an insect. The hegemony claims to represent stability and order, Council Member Zhang offered. Their technology level suggests a successful civilization, perhaps alignment with them. The collective fights for freedom, interrupted Council Member Okanjo. If we're joining anyone, it should be. We're not joining either of them, came a new voice. Dr. Maya Patel, head of the Deep Space Innovation Division, stepped forward. She'd been studying the Sierra Madre's detailed scans of both fleets. Captain Chen's initial analysis was correct. We don't have to choose sides. We can show them something new. Maya pulled up a detailed simulation on the main display. Both fleets are advanced, yes, but they're also predictable. They fight using established tactical patterns, relying on overwhelming force. Their ships are powerful, but specialized. They'd forgotten how to improvise. The simulation showed the Sierra Madre's mining arrays, now reprogrammed for a purpose their designers never imagined. We've spent centuries learning to do more with less, to find unexpected solutions. Captain Chen's crew has already begun modifying their equipment. We can show these advanced civilizations that technology isn't everything. Admiral Santos nodded slowly, a smile spreading across her face. The Sierra Madre is an ice mining vessel. In space, frozen water can be as valuable as gold, or as dangerous as any weapon, if you're creative enough. The council chamber erupted in debate. Some argued for caution, for choosing the seemingly safer path of alignment with one side or the other. Others worried about the risks of Maya's proposed plan. But as the discussion continued, a fascinating pattern emerged. The younger council members, those who had grown up with humanity's expansion into space, increasingly supported the audacious strategy. Think about our history, Maya continued, her voice cutting through the debate. Every major human advancement came not from having the best technology, but from using what we had in unexpected ways. These aliens have become trapped by their own advancement. They see only two options: submit to the hegemony or join the collective's rebellion. We can show them a third way. Admiral Santos took over, outlining the specific tactical elements of what they were now calling Operation Lighthouse. The Sierra Madre will serve as our prototype. If successful, we can implement similar modifications across our fleet. We're not trying to match their firepower. We're going to change the nature of the engagement entirely. As the council's debate continued, urgent updates arrived from the Sierra Madre. Captain Chen's crew had been busy during their requested hour of deliberation. They had already reconfigured their mining arrays into a configuration that neither alien fleet would expect, and their cargo holds of ice were being prepared for a purpose that would have seemed absurd just hours earlier. We should evacuate the outer system, one council member suggested. Pull back to Earth, try to negotiate from a position off. No, Admiral Santos interrupted firmly. Humanity doesn't run. We innovate. We adapt. And right now, we have an opportunity to show the galaxy something they've never seen before. The Council's vote, when it came, was far from unanimous. But it was decisive enough. Earth would neither submit to the hegemony nor ally with the collective. Instead, they would implement Maya's plan, using the Sierra Madre as their proof of concept. Send word to Captain Chen. Admiral Santos ordered. Operation Lighthouse is approved. And send out a call for volunteers from the Jupiter and Saturn mining fleets. Something tells me we're going to need more ice. As the orders went out, Maya studied the tactical displays showing the alien fleets. Their ships hung in space like perfect jewels, each one a masterpiece of advanced engineering. But there was something almost rigid about them, a lack of adaptability that came from centuries of technological supremacy. They were about to learn that humanity's greatest strength wasn't in their technology, but in their ability to find possibilities where others saw none. The Sierra Madre acknowledged their orders with a simple text message, beginning final modifications. Tell Earth to watch the show. We're about to teach some old civilizations new tricks. The Sierra Madre had transformed. Its mining arrays, once designed to delicately extract ice from asteroids, now bristled with modified equipment that made the ship look like a mechanical sea urchin. Captain Chen watched as the last of the emergency modifications were completed, while 12 more mining ships from the Jupiter fleet moved into position behind them. The hegemony is hailing us again, Lieutenant Okafor reported. They're demanding our decision. The collective is also signaling. Sarah took a deep breath. Send them both the same message. We choose peace. As expected, both fleets responded with confusion. The hegemony's message was dismissive. Peace is maintained through order and submission to authority. The collective's response was equally predictable. Peace is impossible while the hegemony exists. They really don't see any other options, do they? Sarah mused. Signal the Jupiter fleet. Begin Operation Lighthouse. The Sierra Madre's modified mining arrays hummed to life, but instead of extracting ice, they began ejecting it. Precision-cut crystals of frozen water, each one carefully shaped and positioned. The Jupiter fleet followed suit, and soon space around them sparkled with a cloud of crystalline ice particles. Both alien fleets detected the activity, but their scans showed nothing threatening. Just primitive mining ships ejecting frozen water into space. Their powerful sensors were calibrated to detect energy weapons, shield frequencies, and advanced technology. They weren't looking for simple frozen H2O. Phase 1 complete, Sarah announced. Begin Phase 2. The Sierra Madre's navigation lights, normally used to signal other mining ships, began pulsing in a precise pattern. The ice crystals, positioned with mining precision, caught and reflected the light. Suddenly, space itself seemed to come alive with dancing lights. What are they doing? The hegemony commander demanded, watching the display with growing confusion. Some primitive attempt at communication. The collective leader wondered. Neither of them noticed that the pattern of lights was subtly affecting their ship's automated targeting systems. The reflected light created a cascading series of false positives, making their advanced tracking computers see phantom targets everywhere. They're powering up weapons, Okafor warned, monitoring both fleets. Right on schedule, Sarah replied calmly. Begin Phase 3. Now the mining ship's modified ice-cutting lasers came into play. Weak compared to alien weapons, they nonetheless struck the suspended ice crystals with surgical precision. Each crystal split into perfectly calculated fragments, multiplying the light show exponentially. But more importantly, the crystalline structure of the ice, shaped by generations of human mining experience, focused and redirected the energy in unexpected ways. The aliens' energy weapons fired and missed. Their targeting systems, confused by the dance of light and crystalline refraction, couldn't maintain a lock. The humans had turned space itself into a hall of mirrors. Send the next message, Sarah ordered. The signal went out to both fleets. We have temporarily disrupted your targeting capabilities using only ice and light. We can maintain this disruption indefinitely. Neither side can achieve victory here. We invite representatives of both the hegemony and the collective to Earth for peaceful negotiations. The response was immediate. Both fleets attempted to adjust their targeting systems, but the humans had anticipated this. Each adjustment was met with a subtle change in the ice crystal pattern, maintained by mining tools that had been performing similar precise manipulations for decades. Their ships are launching smaller craft, Okafor reported tensely. Fighters, maybe. Good, Sarah smiled. That means they haven't figured it out yet. Signal the Saturn fleet, time for Phase 4. From behind the rings of Saturn, 30 more mining ships emerge. They had been quietly harvesting specific types of ice from the rings, preparing for this moment. As they added their cargo to the growing crystalline cloud, the light show became even more complex. The alien fighters, relying on the same targeting technology as their capital ships, found themselves equally blind. Some tried to switch to manual targeting, but the humans had counted on this too. The ice field wasn't just reflecting light. It was refracting it in carefully calculated ways, creating false images and ghost targets. Both fleets are holding position, Okafor announced. The hegemony is requesting a communication channel. Sarah nodded. The alien commander's face appeared on their screen, its non-human features arranged in what she guessed was frustration. Your primitive tactics are merely delaying the inevitable, it stated. On the contrary, Sarah replied, we're demonstrating that perhaps both the hegemony and the collective have forgotten something important in their rush to advance technologically. Sometimes the simplest solution is the best one. Now shall we discuss those negotiations? As she spoke, the light show around them continued its complex dance, a demonstration of humanity's unique ability to turn simple tools to extraordinary purposes. They hadn't needed advanced technology. They had used creativity, turning their experience mining ice into a weapon that even advanced alien civilizations couldn't counter. The collective requested a channel next. Sarah could see in their commander's expression that something had changed. For the first time, these ancient civilizations were looking at humanity not as primitives to be ignored or pawns to be used, but as something they had never expected to find. Innovators who could show them new ways of thinking. The United Earth Diplomatic Center in Geneva hummed with an energy unlike anything in human history. Representatives from both the hegemony and the collective had agreed to meet, their massive ships now peacefully orbiting Earth under the watchful eye of mining vessels, maintaining their crystalline shield network. Dr. Maya Patel stood beside Admiral Santos, watching the alien delegations approach the conference room. The hegemony representatives moved with rigid precision, their environment suits gleaming with technology. The collective delegates were more organic in their movements, but their suits showed equally advanced engineering. They're still scanning everything, Maya whispered, glancing at her tablet. Looking for hidden weapons, advanced shields, something to explain how we managed to neutralize their fleets. Let them look, Helena replied with a slight smile. Sometimes the hardest thing to see is something simple hiding in plain sight. Inside the conference room, Captain Chen had already taken her place at the triangular table. Her presence had been specifically requested by both alien delegations, a sign of growing respect for the human who had orchestrated their first defeat in centuries. Before we begin, the hegemony's lead diplomat announced, its translator rendering its complex language into perfect English. We must address the human weapon system that disabled our fleet. Yes, the collective's representative agreed, for once finding common ground with their ancient enemy. Such technology must be regulated. It could destabilize the entire galaxy. Sarah Chen couldn't help but laugh, drawing surprised reactions from both alien delegations. What you encountered wasn't a weapon system. It was ice mining equipment. Tools we've been using for decades to extract water from asteroids and moons. We simply used them in a way you hadn't considered. The aliens' confusion was palpable. The hegemony's representative spoke first. Impossible. Our analysis shows the light pattern disruption was far too complex to be achieved with such primitive technology. Complex doesn't always mean advanced. Maya stepped in, pulling up a holographic display. Humans have been studying light refraction through ice crystals for centuries. Our mining techniques were developed to extract ice without damaging its crystalline structure. We didn't develop new technology. We just applied existing knowledge in an unexpected way. The collective scientist diplomat leaned forward, its environmental suit shifting colors in what they had learned indicated intense interest. But the targeting disruption patterns, they adapted to our countermeasures instantly. Because we were watching and learning, Sarah explained. While your ships tried to break through our interference, we studied how your targeting systems adapted. Every counter you deployed taught us more about how your technology worked. Humans are very good at learning from our opponents. Admiral Santos watched both alien delegations process this information. She could almost see their preconceptions shifting. These advanced civilizations had become so focused on developing new technology that they'd forgotten the value of creative problem-solving. Your mining ships, the hegemony's tactical advisor, spoke up. They moved with unexpected precision during the encounter. Our analysis suggested at least third-tier AI guidance systems. No AI, Sarah replied. Just human pilots who've spent years maneuvering through asteroid fields and planetary rings. When you mine ice in space, you learn to be precise. The revelations continued as the humans explained more about their solution. The aliens learned how the humans had used their generations of experience mining ice to shape the crystals in ways that would maximize light refraction. They discovered how the mining ship's coordination came not from advanced computers, but from years of working together in dangerous conditions. Your civilizations have achieved amazing things, Maya acknowledged. But in pursuing advancement, you've both forgotten something crucial. Sometimes the best solution isn't the most advanced one. It's the one that uses existing tools in new ways. The aliens' reaction to this simple truth was fascinating to observe. The hegemony representatives seemed almost uncomfortable, their rigid worldview challenged by humanity's demonstration that primitive technology, cleverly applied, could match their advanced systems. The collective delegates showed growing excitement as they began to see new possibilities in old technologies they had long dismissed. Perhaps, the collective's lead diplomat said slowly, "This is why our conflict has persisted for so long. We have both been looking only forward, seeking ever more advanced solutions, when sometimes we should have been looking at what we already had with new eyes." Indeed, the hegemony's representative agreed, surprising everyone. The humans have shown us that true advancement isn't just about developing new technology. It's about understanding all the possibilities of what you already have. As the discussions continued, Sarah noticed a subtle but significant change in how the aliens interacted with the humans. The initial condescension had vanished, replaced by genuine curiosity. They had come expecting to find primitives lucky enough to stumble upon a powerful new technology. Instead, they found a species that could teach them new ways of thinking. 1 year after the events that became known as the Ice Mirror Incident, the Sol system had transformed. Ships from both the hegemony and the collective now regularly visited Earth, not for diplomatic negotiations, but to learn. The Sierra Madre, once a simple mining vessel, had become a symbol of humanity's unique approach to problem-solving. Captain Sarah Chen stood in the newly constructed Orbital Learning Center, watching as alien engineers studied alongside human mining crews. The sight still amazed her. Some of the most advanced beings in the galaxy, eagerly learning about what they had once dismissed as primitive techniques. The hegemony's latest report just came in. Dr. Maya Patel announced, joining her at the viewport. They've successfully implemented ice crystal refraction technology in their planetary defense systems, but they're using it in a way we never considered, combining it with their advanced energy fields to create something entirely new. And the collective? Sarah asked, already smiling because she knew what was coming. They've taken our basic principles of working with ice crystals and applied them to their quantum communication networks. They're calling it the Crystal Web. It's allowing for faster, more secure communications across their territories. This was exactly what humanity had hoped for. They hadn't just forced a peace between two advanced civilizations. They had shown them a new way of thinking that both sides were now building upon in their own unique ways. Admiral Santos entered the observation deck, accompanied by representatives from both alien factions. The Admiral's uniform now bore a new insignia. Director of Galactic Innovation Exchange, a position created specifically to manage humanity's growing role in galactic affairs. The latest surveys are in, Helena announced. the number of conflicts across known space has dropped by 60% in the past year. It seems our little demonstration had far-reaching effects. The hegemony representative, whose name translated roughly to seeker of efficient solutions, nodded in agreement. When we saw how humans could achieve so much with so little, it forced us to reevaluate everything. Our engineers had become too focused on creating new technology, when often the better solution was to use existing tools more creatively. Our societies had become trapped in patterns of thinking that were millions of years old, added the collective's ambassador, who called herself Dawn of New Ideas in English. We saw advancement only in terms of developing more powerful technology. Humans showed us that true innovation often comes from seeing new possibilities in what you already have. Sarah watched as a group of human miners demonstrated ice-cutting techniques to an audience of alien engineers. The miners weren't using any advanced technology, just tools and methods developed over generations of working in space. But their alien students were completely engrossed, their sensors and analytical devices recording every detail. "We're receiving more requests for human advisors," Helena reported, "not just from the hegemony and collective, but from dozens of other civilizations. They all want to learn what they call the human approach to problem solving." Maya laughed. "They still have trouble believing that we developed our mining techniques without advanced AI or quantum computers. They keep scanning our equipment, convinced we must be hiding some sophisticated technology." "That's because they're still learning the most important lesson," Sarah said. "Technology is just a tool. Innovation comes from how you think, not what tools you have." The evidence of this truth was visible throughout the solar system. The rings of Saturn now hosted joint human-alien research stations, where advanced beings studied the properties of ice crystals alongside human miners. Jupiter's moons had become centers for experimental engineering, where alien technology was being combined with human practical experience to create entirely new solutions to old problems. But perhaps the most significant change was in how the galaxy now viewed Earth. Humanity had earned something far more valuable than advanced technology. They had gained respect. They were now seen not as primitives to be uplifted or pawns to be used, but as teachers who could show even ancient civilizations new ways to solve problems. "The Galactic Council has approved our proposal," the hegemony representative announced. "Earth will host the first Galactic Innovation Exchange Center, a place where all civilizations can come together to learn from each other, combining different approaches and technologies. And more importantly," the collective's ambassador added, "a place where we can all be reminded that sometimes the simplest solution is the best one. That wisdom can come from unexpected places." Sarah turned from the viewport to face the gathered group. Beyond them, through the station's windows, she could see Earth shining blue and white against the black of space. A year ago, humanity had faced possible annihilation, caught between two immensely powerful forces. Instead, by staying true to their nature, by using creativity and adaptability rather than raw power, they had changed the galaxy. "We have a saying on Earth," she said, "necessity is the mother of invention." For us, having limited technology wasn't a weakness, it was a strength. It forced us to be creative, to find solutions others might miss. As if to emphasize her point, a new group of alien visitors arrived at the Learning Center, their advanced ships gliding past the primitive mining vessels that had changed the course of galactic history. The galaxy was entering a new age, one where progress wasn't measured solely by technological advancement, but by the ability to see new possibilities in what already existed. Humanity had found its place among the stars not by matching alien technology, but by showing the galaxy a different way to think. And in doing so, they had achieved something remarkable. They had made the advanced civilizations of the galaxy stop and wonder what other simple solutions they might have been overlooking all along.